very productive and profitable week. I'm going to wait a few seconds to see if some of you guys want to hear the message that I have to deliver live. Meanwhile, I'm going to share this live in a couple of pages. Okay, it's right there. So, I'm going to wait. I'm sorry. So I started yesterday a new series of videos that I'm gonna be, or lives that I'm gonna be doing, FAQ live. I started one yesterday in Spanish, and Fridays is gonna be in English, but I didn't have time to promote Fridays FAQ live. So I have a little message to share with you guys instead. But if you have any questions, you can send it via WhatsApp, 202-221-7577. The number is in the screen right here below. So you can send your questions if you have any marketing, entrepreneurship, business. But I want to talk to you about, well, if you're a business owner, you're going to relate to some of the message that I'm going to deliver right now. Many business owners are struggling because of this pandemic or have faced different challenges in the last 6 months. And those go from, unfortunately, having to close or shut down the business, access to capital so you can pay your operating expenses, payroll, salaries, wages, etc. Work overload, you had to let go some of your employees, and now you have to work extra hard to make things happen for your business, which in the beginning, is not that complicated, but after a few weeks, and now we're going into like almost 7 months, it's a challenge, and I feel like sometimes, elected officials or people that are in positions of power that do not understand what it is to be a business owner, they don't really, or they cannot relate to the challenges and the issues that many business owners are going through right now. But for those of us that own a business and understand, the complexity of owning a small business, it's a different situation. We have to hustle for our check every week, every day, and I put on the title of this video the challenge of balancing business with personal. Like running your business and caring for your household. I have a couple of children, 2 kids. My son is 11, my daughter is 8. They're going virtual school right now. So, there are some challenges with that because you're in the middle of meetings, your daughter's Zoom or your son's Zoom is not working and they start freaking out, so you need to help them out. So I would love to hear some of your, or if you don't mind sharing some of your comments, like some of the challenges that you are facing right now with this pandemic. I would love to get some of them through the comments, or send me a WhatsApp, 202-221-7577. But it is a reality. And the other one, which is huge too, is like, how do you adapt to this crisis, right? We have been very busy because a lot of small businesses that are in the position right now to sell their products and services, they are doing it because they have an online presence, they have a website, they are being very active in social media, etc. So that has been good, and it has been great for us because that's the message that we have been delivering over the last 12 years. and we have invested a lot of time in, providing training, workshops, seminars, conferences, etc., for what right now most people are calling like technical assistance. We've been doing that since 2008, because since 2008 we understood and we knew the importance of helping small businesses to do business online, to be able to have a strong an online presence and a strong presence in the digital economy. So that has been part of the, or one of the challenges for a lot of small businesses, adapting to the crisis and understanding how they can use all these different tools, to promote their products and services online. Um, this week, and I think I have talked about this before, uh, my son was born with a heart condition, and he has gone through 4 heart surgeries and, multiple X-rays, EKGs, and MRIs, etc., etc. So this week, he had his test. It was time, for like a checkup. He has a heart valve. I'm actually quickly gonna show it to you right here. That's a document. So that's my son's heart valve right there, and you can see, his heart. I have another video that I didn't want to show it, but you can see the heart valve, the melody valve working on his heart, pumping blood, etc. Because my son was born without the pulmonary artery, and so basically his heart was not able to convert blood into oxygen, and he was in intensive care, for almost 4 weeks, 4 heart surgeries. He's doing better now, but this week, he got his results, and we had like a little step back to where we're going. And the reason why I'm sharing this story with you is like, I was thinking about it like yesterday, like the way that my wife and I see this situation. We have been always extremely positive, even when he was like debating between life and death at the NICU. Um, picture this for a minute. Like when he was born, I was inside the surgery room, and my son was basically like half dead, right? So it was like a very shocking moment for me. And after that, I changed in so many different ways that I could probably spend a couple of hours talking about that right now. But basically, it made me more in tune with those, or make me feel more connected with those things that are extremely important to me, professionally and personally. But I was thinking yesterday, after we got those news that, like, my wife and I, we did everything, like to have a very like healthy pregnancy and stuff. And he was born with this heart condition that we didn't know anything about it. So it kind of like reminded me, when you're starting a business, you put all your effort to start your business, right? You do your market research, you get the money, you start getting the licenses, then you start getting hiccups with the city because they are not approving permits, etc. So it's like, in life, when things don't go the way they're supposed to go, you always try to find solutions, right? Like in this pandemic, we're trying to be creative, stay in business, stay proactive, keep our employees with their jobs and their benefits and everything. So when you go through situations like the ones that we're going through right now, we just have to come out with very creative ideas to address the challenges and the different obstacles that they are in front of you. So I think in my situation, like going through everything that we have gone through with my son, which is like an ongoing process to get him where he needs to be so he can have like a completely normal life. Normal because he will always have some type of device in his heart that will help him, to process and do all the activities that the heart is supposed to do. But we have taken the decisions that are going to help him to have a normal life as possible. And, you know, when I think about the situation, it has been all strategy. And I remember like when he had the first uh, surgery, we have to decide about the different processes, if it was going to be open heart or we can go, through the catheter and the implications of that because the technology wasn't that improved and some of the processes were not approved by the FDA. And it kind of reminded me like you open a business and you have all these issues with licenses and the inspectors don't know anything about running a business and they are giving you a headache because of a chandelier or a lamp or something should be in a different position, whatever, sometimes they have very lame excuses just to extend the process of a business license. But um, with my son, it has been like all strategy, trying to figure out the best ways to get him to where he's supposed to be, in terms of his health and everything. And when you're working like so hard for that, and then you get these results and you kind of like go backwards a little bit, you're like, wow, like, it's difficult to assimilate in the beginning, but we know our position, like from my wife and I, we know exactly what we have to do. We have to be very strong. We don't let him know everything because a lot of the stuff is also like in his mind, and now that he's older, he understands more. So we have to make sure that he's in a very positive state of mind so his body keep healing itself, right? And then medicine does the other part to help him out and take him to the next level. So right now with this pandemic, with all the challenges that we're going through, I have emphasized a lot, especially over the last few weeks, like how important it is to have an online presence. And I was reading this article where, the majority of the business owners that were interviewed, they were saying that they don't feel comfortable using online tools. And some of them, they were like, I don't want to sell, my products and services online. That's like, meh. But it is a reality. And I shared in my LinkedIn earlier today some stats about the digital economy and how it's growing. And let me show you this graph actually so you guys can see it right here. How some industries, you see it's right there. Digital economy is, you have the government and real estate, government, manufacturing, then the digital economy is number 4. And that's on top of the insurance industry, the professional services industry, the healthcare industry, the wholesale retail industry, the construction industry. It's so big that we cannot ignore it, and we should take the proper steps so our business have a strong presence in the digital economy. Numbers don't lie. I can share you guys tons of reports where e-commerce is growing, everything around the digital economy is growing. There are trillions of dollars that are being invested or spent, through online transactions. So it's something that we cannot ignore right now, and we have to be very aware that this is a very unique opportunity for our businesses. And I'm participating, in the Latitude Conference, which, by the way, this year is amazing, and the organizers have done an incredible job putting that conference together. And they have been highlighting a lot of the positive contributions of the Latino community. They call it the cohort um, in the U.S. economy. So yesterday, I was listening this webinar, and they were sharing some statistics, and I knew it, but I forgot that the income inequality that exists in our country right now is crazy. The average income of Americans is $35,000. 46.5% of the working population earn less than $30,000 a year. I'm sorry. 5% of Americans own 79% of all U.S. wealth. That's crazy. It's a, I mean, it's wealth in America is concentrated in a very small percentage, and it has nothing to do with them. It's just it has more to do with us and our ability to generate more wealth. Out of 159 countries, the U.S. ranks 108 for the widest gap between rich and poor. So, there are many different ideas and proposals on how can this change. And I'll give you mine, and this is something that I've been talking about a lot lately. We can do it through digital entrepreneurship. If there are more than 5 million, they say yesterday that there are more than 5 million Latino businesses in the US who contribute $2.3 trillion to the GDP. The reality is that the majority of those 5 million Latino businesses, just to give you some stats in regards to the minority-owned business community, they make less than $100,000. I would say like 70% of those 5 million make less than $100,000. So how can we change that? And one way of changing that is if we help them to start creating a hybrid business model for their businesses. And by hybrid, I mean keep doing what you've been doing all these years, because you're still in business, so you offer a good product or service. But now you have to integrate, you have to incorporate a digital strategy behind it. So you can sell your products and services to different markets across the world, not just in the US, across the world, if it makes sense for your business to do so. So that's the mission that I have right now, and that's what I'm working for right now. It's a priority for me, is to help as many small businesses as I can to start selling their products and services online. Because if we help American businesses to have a stronger presence in the digital economy, I think that because of the infrastructure, the know-how, our values, our culture, everything that we have, it can help us to position the US as the number one e-commerce or digital economy in the world, which we are not right now. I believe it's China, based on some of the numbers that they have, and Alibaba, etc., bigger than Amazon, etc. We have a very unique opportunity, especially now that more small businesses are getting into the digital economy, and that there are more organizations talking about the importance of being online, that we have more access to resources to support small businesses that are interested in having a strong digital presence. I mean, this is like the perfect storm in reality, because for someone like me that has been talking about the importance of e-commerce, the importance of the internet, the importance of technology in a small business operation for 12 years, I can tell you that what I'm seeing right now, it really motivates me to keep doing what I've been doing for the last 12 years. And keep communicating the message that I've been communicating for the last 12 years, which is we must have a strong online presence. And if that's something that is going to help us to, like right now, to run our business easier, and then also care for our household, which it was the original topic of this video, I think it will. And my wife and I had experienced that. Right now she's running her business online. I'm running most of the operation online, and we have had the opportunity to spend more time with our children. And right now that they're going to virtual school, we can help them out, with their learning process. So I live what I speak on a daily basis. This is not just a guy with a paycheck saying like, "Oh, you're supposed to do this and that." No, it's like I have some of the same struggles that a lot of you have. I go through the same learning process that a lot of you guys have. I fail, I succeed, I work really hard, wake up very early, go to bed really late. Like that's why I think I contribute a lot of the success of the Hispanic Chamber of E-commerce to the fact that I'm actually a small business owner. I'm a minority-owned business. I go through the same stuff that a lot of you go through, and I understand it. It's not like I'm just like, oh, the president and gets a paycheck and stuff. It's like, no, I go through a lot of the same challenges that you guys go through, and that's why I'm so connected to the reality of the small business community, because I breathe, I live this every day. And because I study a lot and I study trends and I understand a lot of the things that are happening, at many different levels, I always try to put together partnerships, access to resources, etc., in a way that can help at least the tiny group that follow us and the group that listen to our messages, etc. So for me right now, it is a huge priority to get as many small businesses as possible in the e-commerce arena. And that's one of my goals. And I'm so grateful for the support of a corporation like Wells Fargo that is supporting 1,000 online stores in our marketplace. And we're starting actually next week to start launching the first stores. I'm super excited about that. We're going to have a tons of metrics behind that project that, probably after 3 months I'll start sharing with you. But I think those are the type of initiatives and programs that we have to roll out in the small business community. If you are a business association, trade association, advocacy group, whatever, anyone that is working with small businesses, I encourage you to take the proper actions, the proper steps, so you can help your community, your audience to start selling their products and services online. And I think like if we all do our part, we're gonna be in a really, really strong position like 5 years from now, where we're gonna be a powerhouse, an e-commerce powerhouse in the world. And that's gonna help to narrow the digital divide, and it's also gonna help to narrow the wealth gap that exists in our communities, because we're gonna have more small business owners that are generating more revenue because they have learned the skills and they're using the proper tools to make that happen. I was just sharing a story of a couple that just started a business 3 months ago. They were not making any income near to what they're making right now, and they are selling a very popular and typical product, Mexican product, and they're selling it through Instagram. They don't have a website. They didn't even have like a really good grasp of how to do social media marketing. But it's that entrepreneurial spirit that inspires you to take action and to start making things happen. And in 3 months, the business is growing and they are starting to make a good profit for themselves. And that's a clear example of what we can accomplish if we equip small businesses with the right tools we invest a lot of time in putting out reports and talking about, like, the the Latinos and their power, economic power, etc. But now I think it's time to start uh, turning those reports and that information that we have into practical action items that can actually help, the business community. I'm just sharing or I'm just saying Latinos because it's something that I've been following a lot over the last 12 years, but that applies for the African American community, the Asian community, the LGBT community, the women business owners, etc. So there are more than 30 million small businesses in the US. If we can get 50, 75% of them doing business online, like heavily involved with e-commerce, remember these words. We are going to be able to reduce the digital and the wealth gap that exists in our country. And that's something that I'm working very hard for it on a daily basis. And I'm extremely extremely grateful for those that are supporting our effort. So next week, Friday, 4:30, we're gonna have the FAQ live. I'm gonna be sharing some reminders over the week, and Thursday is the FAQ live in Spanish. So thank you to all those that participated yesterday. I really appreciate it. And remember, by submitting your questions and getting engaged in this exercise, you're actually contributing to others to help, to learn from you. And, in general, it's just a really good exercise that we can all benefit from. So thank you very much for watching. For those that watch this video live on LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And, if you learn one or two things from all the stuff that I just said, make sure that you share this video so others can learn from it. I'm very grateful to all those that have been sharing our content over the last 2 weeks, that I have been a little more active with this. Actually, a little longer than that, but I just feel like I've been a little more active lately. It's not something that I extremely love, because I was talking about it 2 days, 3 days ago in a presentation that I was giving. It's not easy to be in front of the camera. There are many times that you probably say stuff that doesn't make any sense, because this is unscripted, this comes from the heart. I'm not trying to sell anything except the idea that you need to be online and that you need to start selling your products. That's the idea that I'm trying to sell right here. But you can do it in whatever capacity that you feel comfortable doing it. We're giving you options, of course, but it is important that we share what we believe in, our values, our work, our struggles, our successes, and sooner than later, some folks connect with you, or at the very last, your children will love to see you behind camera. At least mine see my lives. My son surprised me the other day. He's like, "Oh, Daddy, I hear you talking about this and that, and what does that mean?" I was like, "When? What? Where? What are you talking about?" I said, "Oh, I was watching your live." I was like, "Oh, that's pretty neat." So you know what? If all this content that I'm putting out is just grabbing my kiddos' attention and my daughter, more than enough for me. I think the job has been done, like someone said. So thank you very much for watching. Have a beautiful weekend, and stay tuned for the upcoming lives and the upcoming videos that I'm going to be posting. Thank you. Enjoy your evening and have a very relaxing weekend. Thank you.